welcome to another exciting episode of the Weekly Shonen Jump Breakdown for the week of May 28th, 2018. My name is Trey, this is the Full Spectrum, and let's get started. So we start off this week with the Promised Neverland 88 Rematch, which starts with a beautiful color spread showing all these different reels of memories, with Emma, Norma, and Ray are there, as well as memories from all across the entire series. We have one of Mujika, and there's one of Luvis and Ban, and it almost looks like I spent a while trying to figure it out. It almost looks like Luvis is standing over Ban's crumpled corpse. There's a lot of information there that I really want to dive back into at some point and go back over after we get some more information about these characters. And we may not get any more. This may really be the end of these characters' arcs, but I think that there's more to that story because it looks like Luvis takes something from Ban, and obviously Luvis has not been to where Ban is because he's busy fighting Emma. But I thought that was really cool to see. We also get to see that Luvis is completely methodical, picking apart their intent and plans, and is loving it. He's figured out that Emma's trying to lure him in while Pepe gets everything put together and Nigel prepares for the snipe, and he's really enjoying this hunt. You get this really cool moment, too, where Pepe figures out that, hey, he's after me now. And then you find out that it was a whole nother plan at the same time. That if he didn't fall for the first plan, they had a second plan. And that's such an Emma move. And apparently it's such a Lucas move that it makes perfect sense. I wasn't upset at all when it was revealed that, Pepe missed on purpose to shoot the pipe so that water would fly everywhere. So that Emma comes in with a wire and electrocutes Luvis. By the way, that flashback of Ray and Norman teaching Emma how to try and guess her opponent's moves by guessing what's the thing you want them to do least, that's what they're going to do. That's a really cool moment, and it's always good to get to see Norman again, So then we get to see, of course, that Nigel takes the shot at Luvis, who is not as stunned as you might think. And he blocks it with his hand, and it looks like his hand might be a little mangled from that. Luvis is enjoying this even more. He's never been electrocuted before, and he's loving it. He makes a dive for Emma and gets shot in the face because the Nameless Man is here. And our old Nameless Geezer has blown off Luvis's mask. There's a couple things I really love about this. The first is that we already knew they were on the way. So it's not like a last-minute save that we didn't expect to happen. As soon as he made a dive for Emma, I was like, yeah, Nameless Man's going to show up. But the Nameless Man was able to mask his presence. He was able to bring everything in, just like he did with Noma, or with Nos. Even with all the rage that he must be feeling at Luvis. Because he's mad at Luvis. He's mad at Luvis. But he was able to hold it all in and take that shot. And I'm so excited. Because the chapter ends basically with him going, long time no see. Paraphrasing. But, oh man. Very excited. Very excited. Also, this chapter was just really well done. The art is almost always on point in The Promised Neverland, but it looks really, really nice today. That house that Emma's hiding in with the doors open, where she's trying to get Luvis to follow her inside, that house was really well detailed. That house felt like it had been super important to the story before. It just was never seen before. It obviously hadn't, but my point is the art was on point this week for Promised Neverland. Following up, we have One Piece 905. What a beautiful world. This was a really good chapter. I really, really liked it. We got to see Orlumbus being dutiful in everything, even folding his pajamas, which is cool. I like that these cover stories are letting us feel like we know more about the Straw Hat Fleet. Also, Old Marineford, which was wrecked, of course, during the Marineford war arc, is now the G1 base, and New Marineford is on the other side of the red line at the entrance to the New World. We also get to see that Fujitora is in Marijoa, and we get to see, snippets of Marijoa. Not a lot, but snippets, which is really cool, because I assume we're going to get to see the rest next week. because he was able to split hairs and, get in on rhetoric. We also get to see that everybody goes up to Marijoa in bondolas, which are like bubbles. One thing I actually love about One Piece is that Oda is able to make every island different. And part of the way he does that is by coming up with these weird, crazy things that are super cool, but kind of also super dumb, and I love it. And the idea of a bubble gondolas going up and down that's brilliant. I love it. Definitely going to steal that at some point for Dungeons and Dragons. But we see some various world leaders who are all named after foods and things like that. Mr. Hamburger himself. And they all have their quirks, of course, as is usual for One Piece. And they're pretty cool. I mean, they're fine. We'll see more of them, I'm sure, and get more fleshed out on their characters, just like we did with all the people that were introduced with Whole Cake Island, for the most part. Or a couple that didn't really get looked into, but, for the most part. And when Shirahoshi shows up, and Shirahoshi is definitely, like, the highlight of this chapter for me. Like, all the rest of the Fishman Island royalties there, too. King Neptune and her brothers. But Shirahoshi shows up, and, like, the crowd is getting hype. Morgans, because Big News Morgans is there, he's getting hype. And she's just hanging out with Garp. And she calls him Luffy's granddad. And Garp is being Garp. And there's this really fun moment where she's like, hey, is that one of your forests? And Garp is like, no, that's a tree. We call that a tree. Because she doesn't know. She's never seen any of this stuff before. Ruining that tender moment is Stelly, who shows up and is now the king of Goa. Oh boy, Stelly's still Stelly as well, and I still hate him just as much as I did, and I guess credit to Oda for making me still hate this character just as much. Stelly apparently is racist. Stelly wants to be a Tenryubito, which is perfect since he's racist. He wants Garp to get him in with his connections, and Garp is just like, who would want to be one of those jokers? And like everybody, like nobody hears it, and Garp's like, don't tell anybody I said that. I'm not supposed to say that. And Stelly's just like, I can't trust this guy, which is another fun gag. But you get this moment where they're leaving, and Shirahoshi waves to Garp. And Garp just waves back. And it's just like, again, the Shirahoshi moments, she's the highlight of this chapter for sure. She's come so far from being Wikihoshi. And the moment where they're looking out on the ocean, as the sun is shining down on the water, and Shirahoshi is just like, I want all of our people to be able to see this. Like, that's such a powerful moment, because she's fully, basically inherited her mother's dream while also adding to it. Not just, I want everybody to be able to accept everybody, but I want all of us to be able to live together. And Neptune's like, yeah, that's why we're here. We'll talk about it at the Reverie. And it's like, yes! I feel like they're going to get shut down, but they're going to try. And, hey, it doesn't take much to make me want to see Shirahoshi's dream come true. Because I really like the Fishman characters. Fishman Island was a weird arc for me, because some of the fights were great, and some of the fights were not. And some of the movements in the story were great, and some of them were not. And we'd already kind of dealt with the idea of Fishman racism three times. But I thought that the way that Fishman Island pulled it off was really good. And the best part about that arc was the royals, for sure. I loved the brothers. I loved Shirahoshi. And Neptune was pretty cool himself. And then, the two aides. But this all leads into two moments at the end of this chapter. Because Oda knows how to just roll them out, Fujitora, sitting with Admiral Rokugyu, talking about how he wants to tear down the Shichibukai system, 7 Warlords of the Sea, and that Vegapunk has something new he's working on, that it will be just as good as the Shichibukai. And in this final moment, where Koala tells us that the real enemy of the revolutionaries is the Tenryubito, the Celestial Dragons, as we see Sabo disguised as a guard on Stelly's Bondola. And of course, Stelly doesn't recognize him, because Stelly doesn't think about anything except for Stelly. But not only is Sabo there, we also see crows, which means that Karasu is there, and we hear about a giant with a trident poking his head out of the side of the mountain. Who could that be, I wonder? This is a great setup chapter for the fact that 3 of the revolutionary captains are at the reverie. And for all we know, that conversation between Koala and Betty was on a bundle as well. We just don't know. So yeah, this is a really good chapter. I really liked it. And, I just want to see Shirahoshi's dream come true. I told myself I was going to take less notes this week, so that it would be a shorter video for everybody, but that didn't happen. Next up, we have My Hero Academia 184, Hero Billboard Chart JP. The UA's taking Eri in, and Mirio's on Eri duty. And Sun Eater still believes that Mirio will come back. So do I. Mirio's the best character in this series, and I need him to be back. I love Mirio. If he doesn't come back, that's also fine, because I love the idea that he gave up all that he was as a hero to be able to protect Eri, but still is a hero. Like, that there's no question that he's still a hero. And I do believe he'll get his quirk back, but even if he doesn't, he's still the best character to me. Lemillion! We also, by the way, Mirio still has the best gag in this whole manga, which is where he copies the movements of people. So he's shushing and shooing people away with Aizawa. He's the best. I just want to point that out. We also see that the Pussycats are back. Yes, please! Super happy to see that. It's the day off version, too. Previous best girl, Shino, Mandalay, is there. And we also get to see that Koda is wearing red sneakers, like Deku. And that even Ragdoll is back. She's just now going to be on support side. Which is really cool, because, I was afraid that Ragdoll would be kind of like a broken mess for the rest of the series. We also find out that All for One, yes, I always trip over that All for One would offer to give her quirk back. But to do that, he has to use his quirk. You don't mind him doing that, do you? And so obviously she's not getting her quirk back, because they can't trust him at all. It's also a really fun moment and a really touching moment where they talk about how, hey, we're back. Because, we dropped a lot in the rankings. 411th place from 32. But their popularity hasn't dropped at all. So if they had still been able to be active, they still would have been just as high as ever. And that shows that the people still believe in them. And so they can't let the people down. They gotta keep going. They gotta keep fighting. We then we cut hard to the Hero Billboard Chart JP, where we see new best girl, Ryukyu. That's right, I'm sorry. Ryukyu has taken over as best girl. Is number 10. Yoroi Musha, who looks really cool, by the way, is number 9. Wash the Washing Machine Hero is number 8. I didn't realize that we were One Punch Man now. Kamui Woods is number 7. Kamui Woods has made such a big jump. I'm so proud of him. We also get to see that Lone Belt Lady is 23. She's still interviewed about Kamui Woods' place and what it's like to be on his team, and has no comment on any teamwork that may or may not be happening outside of work. We can see that Crust, the Shield Hero, is number 6, and he's shedding some tears for All Might. It's sad that this is the first one without All Might in it. We can see that Mirko is number 5. Edge Shot is number 4, and oh man, Edge Shot, that's the name. And he definitely looks like it, but I still like him. Best Johnist is number 3, despite being absent. Everybody's waiting for him to come back. And Hawks is number 2. And then, of course, Endeavor is the top hero now. So, there were some weird little moments in this chapter that I wanted to point out. Tokugami has a sneezing fit, and it's believed that, hey, somebody must be talking about you. You must have a fan out there. It immediately made me wonder if one of these heroes is his dad. Immediately. Or mom, I guess, if it was Mirko. Obviously, the one to look at is Hawks, the wing hero. But it could also just be that somebody somewhere is talking about him. Maybe we're going to get a, junior hero Billboard Chart JP. I don't know. It definitely was something that I noticed and was weird. After that, though, for the most part, this chapter was really solid. There wasn't really anything I didn't like, and even the rankings that took up the back half of the chapter were fun, especially that surprise of Kamui Woods. We didn't know that many of the top 10. We knew it was All Might, Endeavor, and then a third guy that we hadn't really spent a lot of time with at all. But it was cool to see Kami Woods jump up the way that he did. And that Ryukyu is number 10 now. I think it's good to see Best Girl getting some recognition. But all in all, this was a really fun chapter. Next up, we have Momiji no Kisetsu, number 3, Yoshino Somei. Momiji has a stomachache, and Icho decides to use some tough love, and it works. While there, he meets Yoshino, who's kind of a weirdo, and has some kind of promise with Icho, which we find out what that is later, of course. With his mind on Icho and Yoshino, Momiji takes on Moria, and is doing pretty well for himself. But all of that is interrupted when Yoshino, sweating and seemingly in pain, wins his match easily. Yoshino asks Icho why she didn't keep the promise, and Momiji, who's listening in, gets to hear, to make him her pupil. And about this point, Momiji falls, and is then brought into the conversation. She drops the bomb to Momiji that Yoshino was also one of Sakura's students. Yoshino declares a challenge to Momiji, though I expect him to faint at the start of the next chapter. So, I like Yoshino Somei. I think he's an interesting character. I like the fact that the two of them met while both being so nervous that they were in the bathroom. I like that our first introduction to what is our official rival character is him throwing up in the toilet. I think that's a really fun twist on that. And that he hates it when people try to help him because he's too proud, even though he's sick. We don't know what his sickness is, but it definitely seems to pop up a lot while he's playing, which means that it's probably something that taxes him pretty severely. I think it's telling that he seems to have like this attachment to Icho, which means they were probably students together, but also telling that she refused to take him on as a student, which means that my guess is he is using Sakura's style and not his own, kind of like Momiji was at first, but that he has made it his own while using it. That he has adapted it and made it extremely powerful. And that's why Icho didn't want to train him, is because he was trying to just use Sakura's style. Because she makes it pretty clear that she's not happy that Momiji was trying to use Sakura's style, that he needed to do it his own way. And that's just a guess, obviously. It could also be that she just doesn't like him. That he's just annoying to her. I mean, we do see that he basically tackles her the minute he sees her, so could be she just doesn't want to be around that. But I do like Somei. I think he's an interesting character. I think he's a fun character. I think that him and Momiji will wind up being pretty good rivals. But, like I said, I do fully expect him to faint at the start of next chapter, because although that scene was really cool, with him whipping out that fan and being like, hey, we're gonna have a fight, let's do it right here, right now, he's also apparently not in the best shape right now, so I expect him to just pass out. But this was still a fun chapter. This is also the last chapter of Momiji no Kisetsu that will be in Weekly Shonen Jump. So if you'd like to see me talk more about Momiji no Kisetsu, please let me know in the description below, and we will continue to follow this series together. Otherwise, I'm still going to follow it on my own. So, take that as you will, but I really like this series. After that, we have Food Wars 264 from Megumi Tadokoro. So we get a 4-month time skip, and we see that Hayami is popular as always, and Ibusaki's being challenged all the time. We see that Ryo tries to challenge Hayami, but Alice shows up to try and challenge him, and with Alice in the 6th seat, Ryo in the 5th seat, and Hayama in the 4th seat, which is pretty crazy. I like that, though. It's pretty cool. And we also get to see that, there were some concerns that we all had, that Erina might not be able to handle all of Azami's duties right away, and that Shinzaemon might take over for a little while. Nope! Erina's handling everything just fine. She has everybody right where she wants them, basically, when it comes to their meetings, and she's running it all. We also see that she and Aruto have gotten closer, and that they try to use the nicknames. Like, she tries to get Aruto to call her Arina-chi, and it doesn't work, so they go back to Miss Arena. And I think that's probably best for them. We also flash back to the moment of the win, where everyone's concerned about being expelled, and, everybody in the crowd going, well, we did sign with, Azami, and we were with his side, and Central, and we, said really mean things to the Resistance, so we're all probably going to get expelled, not respelled. And someone basically is just like, nope, nobody's getting expelled, because I want everyone to challenge me so that I can get better. Let's all work together. And if you lose to me, there will be no expulsion. There will be no kind of punishment at all. So come challenge me, and I'll beat you, and we'll make each other better as we go. Let's all fight to our heart's content. And it's like, that's what the system should have been from the get-go, and that's what Somei has said in, like, chapter 7, I think. So I'm glad to see that all came back. Somei stated when he first showed up at Tosuki that he would be the best chef there, and that he wanted to get better with everybody else. And that's exactly what's happening now, and that's really cool. We see then that Tosuki changes over the course of those 4 months, where before it was expected that you back down from a Shokugeki, because if you lost, you either lost your seat, or you were expelled, or you had to pay some kind of amount, or some kind of favor, or something like that. Now, it is considered bad form to back down from a challenge. It's a disgrace. Because there's nothing to lose if you lose, so fight them. Get better. Train together. And we see that all the third years have, graduated, got onto their own. Most of them running their own restaurants. But we get to see Rendo and Tsukasa working together out in some river, trying to catch fish to cook with. And that's really cool. I like that they're together out there. And Megumi's now the 10th seat. And Megumi and Somei are on a mission to take out some invaders. This was a really fun chapter, and I think a really good segue chapter to lead into what the series is going to become, which will probably be Somei and Arena and the other seats trying to stop people that want to come in and mess with the status quo. That's the way I expect it to be now. Fun chapter, though. After that, we have Black Clover 158, The Lives of the Village in the Sticks. The demon bones start glowing for some reason, and that sure is weird. I guess we all better stay in the village and not run away. And I mean, yeah, they live next to a giant, skeleton of a demon. But at some point, you gotta have, a contingency plan in the back of your head for, hey, something weird starts happening with those bones. We should probably run. Regardless, they see a golden dawn. It's not actually a golden dawn. The sun's not rising. It's actually the base of Licht. But I thought it was really cool that they called it a golden dawn because that was the guild that, poor old William was the leader of, who the fake Licht was in his body. We also get to see that Asta's home village is the closest to the elves' homeland, which is a problem. We see that it's under attack by one of the elves that is walking there and just killing all the humans in his path as he goes. And Nozzle allows Asta and Yuna to go help, but tells them they're important military might and combat personnel, and they need to hurry and get to the capital. Noelle goes to go with them, but he shuts her down, says she's a royal, and that her duty is back at the castle, to protect the people at the castle. This moment, forget everything that happens later that's really cool, but this moment is the moment where Nozzle has completed his character arc. Nozzle went from, you're not noble, you're trash, get out of my way, to you're important combat personnel. We need you to fight, basically. I should be telling you you can't go, basically. But I'm not going to do that because that's your hometown. So go, but hurry back. And then to Noelle going, well, I'll go with them, they don't need to fight alone. To him going, no, you're a royal, that's not your hometown, we need to go save your hometown. And that very amazing, understated panel of Noelle's chin shaking as she's trying to hold in not just her frustrations as she can't go help Asta and Yuno, but also her feelings at the fact that Nozzle just recognized that she's royal as well, after calling her trash all these times. And I love how understated it is. They could have had panels upon panels upon panels of flashbacks, but instead they have this little tiny chunk of flashbacks that you probably would miss if you weren't paying close attention. And then the channel. So good. So good. We then cut to the village and see Sister is putting up a pretty good fight, but the elf goes in for the kill, and Nash takes his responsibility to protect Sister very seriously. And I want to point out that my first thought with this was, yeah, they're going to save him, but they probably didn't think about when they asked Nash to take care of the rest of the kids, because he's the oldest sibling now that they're gone. that something like this could happen, where Nash could get himself killed. You gotta be careful what you tell kids. Regardless, Yuno and Asta do show up, and there's this, again, really nice details in this chapter. There's a really cool moment here where the tears and the sweat on Sister and Nash's faces both get blown back by the wind of their arrival. And, oh man, this panel of Asta and Yuno younger, and then Sister's eyes getting wider, and seeing them for how they are now. Oh, that hit me right here. Oh, that's so good. And then they both tell Nash that he did such a great job. Oh, man. It's really good. It's really good. They're about to bring the pain. The smackdown's about to start. But I really liked this chapter. This chapter had some really, really nice understated details. And I loved it. After that, we have Kimi Wo Shinryakuseyo 2, Pet. The I'm a Human shirt, which is absolutely amazing, and had me laughing far harder than it should have. We also see Hajime's pet, Bawaab, Lululu. Lululu's the best, by the way. Catching the frisbee with his tail. And then Hajime not realizing that dogs use their mouths. Because he's never paid attention to Earth dogs. And he's only focused on trying to make everybody think Lulu is an Earth dog, so he never paid attention. Like, I'm trying not to just burst out laughing, because that's the hardest I've laughed in a long time. Just that shocked panel, and then him going, how did I miss this detail? I love that he has the idea of, gotta use a frisbee with a dog, that makes sense, right? But didn't pay attention to figure out how the dog catches it. It's brilliant. I love it. We also see that Aiba plans to use a PSP to try and win over Lululu because he's an alien dog, obviously, having seen his tail stretch out like that to grab the frisbee. That plan doesn't work. Dogs don't like PSPs, even alien dogs. However, her plan to dress up as a dog affects Hajime quite a bit more, and works on Lululu as well. Too well. I talked about it last time, where there are some pretty good gags in this manga, but I don't know that we needed the fan service. And I think that, like, Aiba in the dog outfit, like, especially when she's doing the, like, yeah, that was pretty cute. The art's well done. That's not bad. I don't know that we needed the tentacle panel with the tongue, though. Like, I don't know. There's a clear path that tongue's going, and I don't know. I don't know about that. Regardless, we'll move past that to the moment where the setup from the start of the chapter comes in, and Lululu needs to sneeze, and Hajime has to stretch out his arms and put himself between Aiba and the fire. And I thought that was really cool, because, he risked it. If she had turned around, she would have seen, but he also wanted to protect her. And so, even in just 2 chapters, he's come a long way. And then after all that's said and done, Lulu's happy, and they go home to make some food, and Aiba's still with them. So yeah, all in all, this was fine. The tentacle tongue panel, was really off-putting, kind of because it just came out of nowhere. Like, I didn't have any reason to think that was going to happen, and then it just did, But, I mean, I don't know. I didn't know where Lulu's reaction was going to go anyway, but I definitely thought it was going to be something a little bit more mundane that dogs do than that. I don't know. Regardless, we'll move on. After that, we have Dr. Stone 59, Voices from Here to Infinity. The cell phone is finally together and complete, and Kahaku drops the bomb that, won't they need a second one to be able to hear anything, though? They use a landline instead, as everybody is shocked. Senku reveals that he, of course, knew that all along, and just didn't want to hurt everybody's feelings by making them realize that they need to do the whole thing twice. And they run a landline instead. So Chrome can talk to Ruri, and everybody gets all hyped up because, Genro laid down the idea that he's going to confess to her over the speaker. But he just gets excited about how cool technology is instead. And Ruri, seems, that's Chrome. That's the way he always is. But she says, this is like a speaker, which makes Senku go, oh, what? And made me go, what? I was really afraid for a second there we were going to get into oh no, Ruri's actually from the time before Stone as well. No, she's not, though. It turns out that Tale 14 of the 100 Tales is a bee named Speaker who can channel the voices of the dead. This, Senku and Gin immediately start going, wait, hold on. Why did your dad think this was important? Why is it Tale 14, 1 for Senku's birthday, January 4th? Why was this important? And that's when Senku's like, there's something in the gravestone. And so he picks up his dad's gravestone, and it's a time capsule. And inside is a record. The bee with the needle, the stinger, named Speaker. It's a record. And so Senku is immediately, floored that, my dad was a genius. I was floored, not that Byakuya was that smart, but that Byakuya honestly believed that Senku would come back. That Senku would wake up. He honestly believed it. He refused to give up on his son. So not only did he lay down Ishigami Village, hoping that Senku would find it, but he also left a message for him, because he knew Senku would find it. It's man, talk about a dad having a lot of faith in his son. That's crazy cool. It's a little convenient, but it's still crazy cool. And then you get the moment of Ruri, saying how amazing science is. Chrome's right. Because it allows Senku's dad to talk to him from the afterlife. And it's yeah, technically it does. So, I thought that was really fun. I liked that a lot. After that, we have We Never Learned 64, Excitement and Busyness in the Anticipation of X. School festival time, and Ogata's class has an udon booth. Takamoto's class is doing some kind of swim team project. And Furuhashi's class is working on a play. The girls come to get Furuhashi as Takamoto tells Yuiga that he cannot come to the swim team project no matter what. And they talk about the urban legend that if two people are holding hands or touching while the first firework goes off, then they'll fall in love. And Yuiga points out that, well, yeah, but if there were two people that were touching and watching fireworks together, weren't they already pretty likely to fall in love? And I love that. I love that immediate undercut of the urban legend. But that doesn't stop Takamoto and Sekijo from latching onto it. Takamoto for herself, Sekijo for Ogata. Then we get to see Kurisu, best girl, get saddled with the staff project, which involves a costume of some sort. She kind of agrees to it because she doesn't really know what's going on. And we can see that Furuhashi is shanghaied into a play, specifically to be Sleeping Beauty. We also then see that the Thorns Club decides that Yuiga has to be the Prince Charming, that there's no other option. So everybody is playing matchmaker here, except for poor Kurisu, who is going to have to wear a costume, while talking about history. We also can see that Ogata's dad is a beast, and makes 1,000 orders of noodles instead of 100, because somebody's period, one of the side characters, whose name we don't know, his period is a little bit wider than it should be, so it looks like another small zero. Ogata is freaking out, because she's like, what am I going to do? There's so much udon. We can't let it all go to waste. I won't let my dad's work go to waste. When Yuiga volunteers to help her, which of course makes her blush. And the ball is rolling, as Yuiga and Ogata are going to go out and try and sell all this udon, with Kurisu looking shocked, Furuhashi looking shocked, and Takamoto looking shocked. Next chapter is going to be crazy, and the voice from the future that says the legend was true. Now, of course, does this mean that it has to be for Yuiga and somebody else? No, it could easily be for a side character. But if it is for Yuiga, I don't think we'll get hard confirmation of which girl he's going to wind up with, because I easily think he could wind up touching all of them and watching a firework go up. Which, now that I say it like that, sounds kind of dirty. But I think that could very easily happen. All in all, though, this was a really solid chapter. I'm looking forward to the next one for sure. And then finally for this week, other than the lightning round, we have Robot Laserbeam 58. The game is up. Kazuma has the right of it. Robo is, in fact, at his limit. He's not going to be able to make it through another round if he has to. And he loses his grip for a second, and that costs him pretty seriously. He lands in the rough. Or, not even on the rough. He lands outside. Kuse's waiting, like a wolf, for the moment he can finish off Robo. And that moment may be coming faster than he thinks. As Robo calls for the 3-iron, he has a risky plan in mind. And oh boy, did I love this. Hitting the ball with the toe of the 3-iron. Something that is very, very difficult to do, by the way. Suzaku is losing his mind, and so am I, as the hype comes in. Robo hits it. He lines it up, and he hits the laser, and the crowd goes crazy. Suzaku looks like he's about to just start foaming at the mouth. And Ginro sets his eyes on Robo's throat. Because now's the moment for him to go in for the finisher. This was a really fun chapter. It was short, but it was to the point. It let us know exactly what was going on, that Robo is almost at his limit. He's just about to lose it. But that he's not given up yet. And that moment with the toe shot, oh my gosh. I was so hype. So hype. Suzaku's still the best character, and he was getting hype. So, can't help but enjoy it. Finally, for this week, we'll do the lightning round. Promised Neverland 88 rematch. 2 thumbs up. Really enjoyed it. Electrocuting Luvis. Absolutely amazing. Thought that was great. One Piece 905, What a Beautiful World. Also 2 thumbs up. Shirahoshi was the best this chapter. Sabo's there. Karasu's there. Our friendly Molly's there. Looking forward to more. Absolutely amazing. My Hero Academia 184. Hero Billboard chart JP. Gonna go ahead and give this 2 thumbs up as well. Mirio was cool. Eri was there, taken in by Yue, and we got to see previous Best Girl Shino and new Best Girl Ryukyu, as well as all the rankings. Kamui wins. After that, we have Momiji no Kisetsu 3, Yoshino Somei. I'm going to give this one 1 thumb up. I thought it was a really solid chapter. Not quite as good as the previous 2, but still enjoyable, and I really liked Somei. After that, Food Wars 264 from Megumi Tadokoro. 2 thumbs up. I thought the time skip was really well done. I like all these characters that are now in the seats, and I'm really excited to see where the story swings from here. Also, Arena has it down. Love it. And Tsukasa Rido together. Black Clover 158, The Lives of the Village in the Sticks. Gonna go and give this 2 thumbs up for those small, understated moments that really sold this chapter for me. Kimi Wo Shinryakuseyo 2, Pet. I'm gonna give it 1 thumb up because I laughed harder than I have in a long time. It would have been 2 thumbs up, but I really didn't like that tentacle panel. However, that moment where Hajime doesn't know how dogs catch frisbees got me really good. Dr. Stone 59, Voices from Here to Infinity, really solid chapter. Loved that Byakuya left that message for Senku. Can't wait to see what it is. Hoping we get to find out next chapter and not the chapter after, but we'll see. We Never Learned 64, Excitement and Busyness in the Anticipation of X. 2 thumbs up. Love school festivals. Love the setup this is getting. Really enjoyed the moments here. And Oh God, His Dad is a beast. Finally, Robot Laserbeam 58, the game is up. How can I give this anything but 2 thumbs up? Suzaku's hype. I'm hype. Robo's almost dead where he's standing. Ginro's going in for the throat. Loved it. We'll be back next week with another exciting episode of the Weekly Shonen Jump Breakdown. My name is Trey. This has been The Full Spectrum. And remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that Jump has to offer.